Yeah. I can.
Yeah, you can. Open them and have them ready. You can just dive in there.
Okay, I'll now call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Robert Tucker.
Here.
Dennis Barnum. Sandy Anino.
Here.
Anthony Sandoval.
Here.
Ana Jimenez Jami. Jackie Russell Garcia.
Here.
Jorge Martinez.
Here.
Lucinda Solorzano.
Here.
Thank you. We have form.
Okay, great. Pledge of allegiance. Standing in allegiance.
Sure. Put your hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The public comments, we give the opportunity for the public to comment on items that are on the agenda or at whether we have agenda items or so there any public comments. Okay. Not seeing any. We'll go on to the consent calendar items. Item 1, excused absences. Were there any recommended excused absences?
We have 2
Okay.
excuse absences.
Okay, for the record. Okay, and we'll do 1 and 2. We'll vote to do both of those in a moment. Regular meeting minutes, February 8th. Do I hear a motion to approve item 1, excused absences, and item 2, the minutes of February 8th? Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion on either one of those items? Not hearing any. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Here's the end of the consent calendar. Business calendar renewal, item 3, renewal of Orange County Children's Therapeutic Arts Center agreement, the program year. Before we talk about it, is there a motion to approve? Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, discussion. Sandy?
As you all know, we did a 4-year procurement for our providers, and Dr. Anna was, or excuse me, Orange County Children's Therapeutic Arts Center was an approved provider within the list that we're working with. And so based on performance and what they've been doing and their current contract, we are recommending that we approve or develop a new agreement for this upcoming fiscal year to serve 20 youth in addition to what they currently have right now. Additional 20. Correct.
Okay, further discussion or comment? I do want to say I did attend their annual event in downtown Santa Ana. It's very nice. So they put on a very nice public community event. Okay. We have a first and a second, no more discussion. All in favor of renewing the Orange County Children's Therapeutic Arts Center Youth Agreement for program year 2024 and 2025, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries. Thank you. Okay, item 4, election of officers for this for the Santa Ana Youth Council for 2024-25 term. Is the election of a chairperson and a vice chairperson. Are there nominations for chairperson?
Nominate you.
When you're retired, this is what happens. I accept that. Is there any nominations for vice chairperson?
I'd like to nominate Dennis Brown, if he's willing to accept.
Okay, I'm sure. So, any further nominations for either position? Not hearing any. All in favor of the electing the chairperson, myself, and Dennis Barnum as vice chairperson, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Any abstentions? Thank you again. Glad to serve.
Thank you so much, Bob. You've been nonstop helping us, and we appreciate your time and your
Thank you.
commitment to the Youth Council. I can't imagine anybody doing an amazing job just like you.
Well, thank you, but you know, if someone else wants to do it. You know, I mean, sometimes having a new person, it's a good thing to do. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
That's the end of the business calendar. Reports. Item 5, program operators reports, YSPM, Sandy. Or,
So I don't have a lot to report other than, we tried to pick up, enrollments after conservation board, left the YSPN. I've currently only been able to enroll a total of 5 out of school youth. We currently have placed a couple of them doing paid work experience through Wheeler Youth. They're both currently working at city departments, planning and building, and another youth is completing work experience with the Santas. She, that participant also is currently enrolled with Hope Builders, and she's working on the MA program. So she should be done pretty soon with that. The other youth have been a little back and forth, not really sure what they want to do. They want to work, and another day they don't want to work, they want to go to school, now they don't want to go to school. So it's been a lot of headbutting with them. And we're still trying to close out strong this current program year. Hopefully we could get up to 10 enrollments, and then get some new guidance for the new upcoming program year. And that's pretty much it, other than also completing some of the follow-ups from last program year. We've completed a total of 47 follow-ups. And we're going to be, like I said, closing out this program year.
And so something we did, thank you, Juan, something we did with both Orange County Therapeutic Arts Center and the Work Center is we wanted to make sure to give them sufficient time to be able to enroll and work with the youth. I think it's been challenging to get them all enrolled. And so we've extended their current agreement. We gave them the additional 100,000 to serve until December. So there will be a simultaneous contract going on in order to be able to serve, as you know, and I'm sure probably Octec may speak a little bit further on this, but they work with a lot of youth with disabilities. And so something that I did recommend to Dr. Anna was it's not necessary to exit them from the program just because the fiscal year is ending and the contract is ending. That's one of the main reasons why we did a 4-year procurement, to allow for that carryover of youth and allow them sufficient time to be able to accomplish the goals that WIO requires, especially if they're dealing with quite a few challenges. And that's something that we look at when we're looking at the out of school youth or youth with disabilities. And so with that, we're looking to work and make sure to meet those enrollment goals and services, and that the youth come out of the program successful by December of this upcoming year. Something else I wanted to touch on with the YSP is we've been really busy also with our other youth programs and enrolling. As you may all be aware, we are right now in an influx of applications for our youth program for our Californians for All, and also for our Stay Employment program with our general fund. And so recently we had an unconference, and I might have mentioned this at the Workforce Development Board meeting, but I don't think we've talked about it here. It was a very successful event. As you know, we get state funding to provide paid work experience to youth 16 to 30. Yes. Youth are now 30 years old. And so young adults. And so we wanted to make sure to provide an educational component with this funding. And with that, we partnered with the library to do an unconference. I don't know if anybody's familiar with what an unconference is. It's a very informal conference that allows for a little bit more flow of conversation, workshops where youth can kind of come in and out as the conversation guides them, to allow for easier flow of conversation and topics and what have you. And so it was a great event. We had about 80 youth in attendance. We invited both our Stay and our Californians for All because it was paid for by them. We had a panel of youth. One of the components for the California for All is food insecurity, climate change, community sustainability. And so the youth presented in a panel form where they were asked questions by our main librarian on the various topics, what they learned, how it's changed them, what they wanted to communicate to the public. And so they got to provide a PSA for that. They got to provide poster boards of their projects and what they wanted to see changed within the city, along with some of our council members that attended this event. With even one of them wanting to implement one of their ideas, which is a bike sharing plan for climate change and community sustainability. And so it was a really good event. With that, we also had a AI panel. As I mentioned before, we applied for California for All funding in February, March, and we received $2 million, or we will be receiving $2 million to continue to do our Californians for All, which will complement our SAY program and paid work experience. And so in that new application, we incorporated AI component. And so we introduced AI at this unconference with a panel of AI specialists and gave a little bit of feedback, asked questions to begin the conversation on AI and then moving forward into this new program year. So we gave the kids goodies, we fed them, and so I am looking to partner with the library to put something a little bit more formal out where you guys can see pictures. I hope to either send it to you via email, if not, share it at our next meeting so that you can get a visual of what I'm actually talking about. And then I'm hoping, I'm crossing my fingers with this new funding, that we do a similar unconference here at the Work Center on AI. That I'm going to be happy to invite all of you guys to, so that you guys can experience it also and get firsthand on what that looks like. So we've been busy with that. Also, due to the partnership that we've had with the library, we've invited them to come kind of move in with us for a few months for this upcoming agreement. So we're excited to have a few of them here to partner with us to help us launch the AI component of the California for All SAY program. But up to date, we've serviced over 400 youth within the SAY and California for All program, and it's going strong. As we all hyperventilate this summer, and all the kids have now gotten word that we pay while they go to work and learn skills, and so they're all applying, which is an exciting time. But again, fairly busy these last couple months. Yes, question.
No, but not a question, a comment.
Yes.
So as you know, my son's in the SAY program with the Raya Foundation,
Yeah.
and he did attend the unconference, and he did like it. He said he learned a lot. So those type of things, I mean, are great, and we keep telling the kids to apply to the SAY program. So yeah, my son is loving the program.
Thank you. And so we are right now at capacity. We're looking to develop more work sites, and that's where I come to all of you and your network and friends and partners. If there is any businesses, organizations, county departments that you're aware of that could use an intern that we will pay for and develop it as a work site, we're happy to connect with you guys so that we can develop that as a work site. I think one of the biggest challenges working with work sites that are open to training 16 and 17-year-olds. Many of them say, oh, of course I would. Send me any 18-year-old plus. And I'm like, oh, I want my little ones. I need my little ones to get that experience and skills. And so that's where a big struggle is. So if you do know any agency or work site, please welcome them to give me a call. I'll connect them with my staff. We'll see how we can develop a work site. And they're not actually doing, we have youth at code enforcement, at the police department. We're looking to open up maybe council page positions where they get to shadow them and do community outreach to the public to inform them of programs and services that the city offers. In addition to working with some nonprofit agencies and some for-profit downtown businesses that are training them in the soft skills, or if it's more advanced, some of our engineering positions. I think we have one engineering position where they just job shadow them and are immersed in that career to know a little bit more about it and what it takes, what it's all about. And so we encourage, you're not going to get an engineer. I mean, you might have somebody if they apply from the junior college or college that is interested, but the majority are somebody, youth saying, hey, I've always wanted to do engineering, or I like math. Can I work in the finance department? I want to open my own business. Can I work with Suavecito, which is a retail business here in Santa Ana? So with that, I put that out, the challenge out to all of you guys to help me find some more work sites for our little ones. Yes.
So the work center does work for relocation or retraining to some degree, right?
Yes, for our dog programs or WIO adult
Yeah.
programs, yes.
The reason I mention that is as AI becomes more used by the average person and companies, you're going to see workers that are displaced. And so the employer should try and retrain people that they're going to be displaced by it. For example, they had this big writer's strike and they're saying, why aren't they hiring us? You know, because honestly, they're using AI to replace people, I believe, and others believe that as well. So it's coming. It's, you know, as a union rep on this board, the rec board, sometimes the union will say, well, just don't use self-checkout, that's AI. It's much more than that. Anybody here tried AI? Yeah. It's interesting. I tried it with ChatGPT, the free version, and then I tried it in Messenger where they have Meta AI. If you look on your Messenger, if you still use Facebook, you can ask it questions, but I had to shift mentally from like a search engine, because that's not really what it is. It's, they create something new. So if you're looking, if you do something, a search, you can find the same answer multiple times when you search. ChatGPT or AI, it's always new. So what did I try? I wanted to create a country western love song with a particular line that I had thought of. You know, I kind of was thinking about it. I'm not really big, I like country, I like a lot of music, not just country western. But damn, we came up with something really cool. Young people are pretty savvy with it, and school districts, as we were chatting earlier, they've developed some software to track papers and things that are submitted using AI. And I was saying a smart student would create something on AI and tweak it a little bit, make it a few errors in it, so that would get past the software, you know. So I would suggest if you haven't explored it, try it. It's I have the picture thing too, and to come up with a picture, and it's it'll ask you, is this the right picture? Do we need to correct it? And you say, no, I want you to do this little tweak to it. It's pretty cool.
It is, and I think we definitely need to get in. One of the panelists at the unconference did mention that, because I think the fear is a lot that a lot of positions will get replaced, although some may. I think they're transitioning into a different type of position. And I think that's the mentality we're trying to get out to the youth and to the community, is to, there is some bad components to AI, but I think there's so much good if we educate ourselves more deeply in it. Because and I always use this as an example, what an individual used to have to maybe carry, let's just say a bag of XYZ to the next component of their job, to then hole punch it. Now a machine may potentially do it. However, there still needs to be a human that monitors that to make sure that it's being done properly, and or to be able to correct the machine, repair the machine, develop the machine. So when you look at, okay, this person's job maybe no longer has to carry and punch a hole in whatever material that they're working with. Now you have a person developing the machine, fixing the machine, operating the machine, and maybe auditing the work that's being done. So now you have 4 positions for that one that got eliminated, potentially, but it's a little easier, right? Maybe you don't have that injury of carrying 50, 80 pounds of metal sheet to do the job. That's one small component. I mean, you look at legal, where a lawyer would have to actually research every case that may have had the similar situation that they may be dealing with. Now AI, they can populate that question and come up with various different cases. So now they're a more efficient lawyer to be able to provide that information. I think there's just so much more to learn to it, and I'm excited to be able to present a version of that, or even just a career awareness. I think when you look at youth, they're quick to say, oh, you know, the Terminator or social media or what have you. There's so much deeper positions within AI that are available to train in that pay fairly well, that may or may not require a four-year degree or master's program that will pay the same or more. And that will open up just a bigger world that we didn't know of. Yeah.
So along the same line, I've been talking a lot with teenagers and listening to what they have to say. And they are, many of them, not really talking about going to a two-year college or a four-year college, but instead getting into the vocational ed side. And this is something that's been like pushed away for so long. And now they're seeing that there's good money, that they can start making money very quickly. And they can have, you know, a career in a very short period of time instead of going, you know, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years or more. So we're seeing a real break in kids, some wanting to go to college, but some really going towards the vocational. And I think, you know, the AI is actually fitting into both sides. So AI in education and the AI in the vocational ed program. So I would like to see us go back to some of that voc ed stuff because the kids are wanting it now.
Some districts are leaning into that a lot more. I know one that's been a leader a long time has been Long Beach.
Yeah.
It's done a lot. So.
A lot have gotten rid of it, so reaching out to people in the community that can help our students get involved. And
Although we don't discourage the university, Cal State's junior college, the higher education, I think we are seeing, I spoke to one of my child friends and I was like, where are you going? You're gonna be a senior next year. He said, oh, I'm not going to college. I'm gonna go into a vocational school. My dad is a plumber
yeah,
and he makes really, or an electrician, one of the two. He goes, I'm just gonna follow in his footsteps.
it's a lot.
And he's a bright young man. And I was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, oh, do you know how much he, you know, what the income? And he's like, a little over 100,000. I'm like, oh, okay then. I'm like, you go do that.
Career.
I'm like, you go do that. And so I don't think, and we've said it for many times, college isn't for every, and we've said it for years, I think decades, but for sure, I think it's being more prevalent. Kids are really educating themselves. Do I really want $100,000 debt? If I'm not eligible for financial aid or I don't have the millions to just fork it out, right? And so they're just kind of weighing their options and seeing, okay, well, what do I really want to do? And what are my options? And they're starting to educate themselves a little bit more on what vocational and what do those careers offer as far as pay and, you know, return on investment, right? What's their ROI for 1 or 2 years? How much am I getting as opposed to 4 years or a master's degree? And I think both are equally valuable. I think it just depends on the student and what their goals are.
Yeah, I saw a statistic this many years ago, but it was at UC Irvine, the percent of folks that graduated with their degree, 4-year degree, that actually were employed in the field that they chose, 20%. So there may be a lot of reasons. I mean, a lot of people don't finish school and or maybe they're not maybe mature enough to finish school at this point. So yeah, trade schools, community colleges are a good start to while you're figuring things out. Because if it's 20% are actually getting jobs in their chosen line of education, what happens to the other 80%?
Right.
And I'm sure they'll find a path. The other thing is I'm seeing that enrollments in college by women compared to men is almost 3 to 1. Which is interesting. Is that because young men are a different level of maturity in their life? I don't know, but that's an interesting thing that's going on. It's a great thing, but interesting. From a business point of view, when you're retired, you get to read those stuff. But we all know there's a big budget deficit with California, around $50 billion. But some experts are saying there's so much investment in some of these AI companies like NVIDIA, which is a California company, that the capital gains payments into the state coffers may actually resolve the budget next year. It's that much. So, that would be good news. Hopefully they'll manage it a little better. if that happens. So interesting times. So thank you. Any other comments on Orange County Therapeutic Arts?
Well, YSPN, she still needs to present.
Oh, please. I'm sorry.
YSPN took a little longer,
Yes.
sorry.
Okay, I'm Andrea. I'm the program coordinator of the youth employment program at ONTAC. Thank you. So. So we currently have 25 participants enrolled. We did not carry any participants from last program year over. We currently are serving 19 out of school youth and 6 in-school youth. As Sandy mentioned earlier, a lot of our participants, so to be exact, 17 participants have disabilities. 18 of them are low income, 24 are basic skill deficient, 9 have poor work history, 2 are foster youth, 1 is a parenting youth, and then 1 is a high school dropout. So there's a lot of barriers that we've seen. So far, we've been able to place them either in technological arts, digital arts and media, admin work, dance and the arts, medical office clerk, most recently cinema attendant, and also museum event assistant. So that's honestly been a big win for us. It's been a challenge to find work sites as well, especially when you have youth who do have some sort of disability and they need a little bit of extra help. Sometimes businesses unfortunately don't have, the manpower for it, or they don't have the time for it. And so it becomes a little bit more difficult to place youth in work sites. But as far as employment updates go, 21 out of the 25 participants are currently doing work experience, either at OCTAC or somewhere else. And then one of them right now is a barista at Starbucks, and she's also a full-time student at Cal Poly. One of them works at AutoZone, and he's currently also doing hours at OCTAC. And then the other one works at a warehouse facility while also doing hours at OCTAC as well. One of our participants recently received employment as a non-medical caregiver. Her career path was in child care development. And so she really wanted to do that type of route. And thankfully she was able to obtain employment at Maxim Healthcare. So as far as school updates go, as I mentioned, so 4 participants are attending high school. 2 are currently enrolled in Santa Ana College. 1 of them is at North Orange continuing education. We have another at Fullerton, another at Coastline College. And then 2 of them are freshmen at Cal State Fullerton and at Cal Poly. And then 1 of them just enrolled in the GED program. So he actually just completed one of the courses, one of the 72-hour courses. So he's very motivated to obtain his GED. As far as our follow-up participants from last year, as we mentioned, we had enrolled 20 youth. We had some participants who were experiencing homelessness last program year. Similar barriers as this year as well. We had a bit more parenting youth last year. As far as employment goes, we still have some of them who are either working still at Disney. One of them is a teacher's assistant at SAUSD. So she was previously doing child development at OCTAC, and then she got hired on as a teacher's assistant at SAUSD. Same thing with, one of our participants who is now working for the tech department at Amazon. He used to do tech at Octech, and now he does, now he works for Amazon. So, we were really, really happy for him. And then we've had some that were office clerks or are office clerks. And then some that are working food and retail and as caregivers. So, we've still managed to keep contact with some of them. Obviously, some of them are a little bit more difficult to get a hold of, but yeah. But for the most part, everyone seems, good. This is our concern as well, but that's kind of a breakdown of everything.
Any questions? Okay.
Sandy?
Sorry. Did I say something? Did I say something about it?
I say Coastline. They have credentials there, and they are amazing, and they can work on them, they can work on 2 or 3 different ones, they can finish one and go into the other. And as we were talking about voc ed, most of them are in voc ed, so that would be a really good place for your, not your mild, because a lot of the mild kids can go directly to college, but your more moderate. Students with disabilities, this would be a really good plan for them, because there's a lot of hands-on, and you just learn a small amount of it.
Yeah, and then I've been trying to get a hold of someone there. Unfortunately, they do not have currently someone that's dealing with outreach at Coastline, so it's been a little bit challenging, because I've been wanting to have them come in and talk to the youth, so that we can maybe hopefully get more information for them to send them there. Another barrier we've run into is transportation. Some of them, if they're a little bit more moderate, they don't feel comfortable riding the bus by themselves. I know that there is transportation of bus to that campus, is my understanding. But, some of them don't have either, a parent or guardian in their life that's able to do that, so they kind of have to figure something out. So it becomes a little bit more challenging, but I love that option. It's definitely one of our top.
The Regional Center might be able to help you get, the students from door to door.
Okay.
And getting them the bus passes, it'll pick them up door to door to get them over to Coastline, and I can help connect you over Coastline.
Thanks, Joe. That'll be great. Yeah.
So I just had a comment, in regards to those hard to reach kids, if any are foster youth, you can always reach out to our office that we can try to connect with you. We do have a MOU with our department and all the work employment programs, readiness employment programs, so that we were able to share information in regards to that. So just a reminder.
Perfect. Yeah, and I'll get your questions. Yeah, that would be great. But thankfully, it hasn't been any of our foster youth.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Because I know the placements often change and then they.
And case managers.
Yeah.
Questions or comments? About this?
It is really very great to see the variety of places that the students are doing work experience, as well as in your follow-up as well, and the number of different colleges. So I mean, just that it's not one place for everyone, that people are going out and exploring different types of jobs they can do in the future and going to different places.
For sure, yeah. Like I said, that's what I'm currently trying to, I'm trying to have my team help me develop work sites and just make connections with local businesses around town that are aware and are open to, having school for youth. So Bowers Museum is one of our newest ones. We're actually having some youth help out this weekend, and Frida Cinema is also another one that's been really, really nice. Yeah, so it's been good.
Other questions or comments? I'd just like
Are
to
we
share,
doing the video?
I'd just like to share a comment. Over the years, looking at Octech, I visited your location and visited your events. And one of the great positive things I see about your organization is the it gives young people that don't have a direction, a feeling of acceptance, an environment of acceptance, empowerment, so that they get that confidence to go on and do some things. And many years ago, I went to Coastline. So it's a good place. Lots of good opportunities. So thank you for what you do.
Yeah, and I brought also, I think we were gonna show a little video, of one of our participants. I don't know if there's time though.
Yeah.
Please.
He actually helped out at the community partners event. He was one of the photographers, so, yeah.
I'm Robert Arroyo, and I've been working here at Octech. I'm part of the YEP program for about a year now, and I'd like to talk about my experience. I found out about the YEP program through my old teacher, Lucas, who contacted me and said that we're doing this YEP program. I'd like you to be a part of it. And at first, I wasn't like so sure, but I went ahead and did it. Because I thought it would be a good opportunity to like learn more about what I'm doing in college and what experiences I can learn to move ahead in the adult real. I participate in the YEP program first with helping out Lucas with audio production, because when I told him that I was doing that in college, he said, "That's great. We can use someone like you." And so like that was my first experience. Like I began to help him out throughout the weekdays. I got to have real experiences of what it's like to be a sound guy in events. Because usually at the time I would mainly perform, but I got the experience of what it's like to be the sound guy, what it's like to set up equipment for the performers and stuff like that. And it's a very great experience I learned from my other teacher, Randy, who I used to work with back in 2020. And he even said to me that he's doing a video production. And I thought to myself, yeah, I'd like to be a part of it too. So I went ahead and began to work with both my two teachers, Lucas and Randy. Randy did video production, and I was one of the first people to join. And we started out learning how to edit videos and learn about audio, since I have knowledge in audio production. And I even got the experience of knowing how to hold a camera, how to record and take photos. And it became a really great experience, like with both learning from audio and learning behind the camera. The YEP program has helped me with my career for quite some time now. Like one of the things that I can remember the most of is they helped me out when it comes to making a resume. At first, I had a hard time making my own resume. I couldn't figure out what to put in or how long it should be. And the good thing is that they taught me that it's more than just telling your history of working on other jobs. You can actually put in real life experiences and events. I've attended a few workshops. The only two I can remember the most were, I forgot what this one was called, but I do remember that it was about learning how to live and how to save or spend money. It was more like, do you rather live what it's like to live in an apartment or a house or with roommates, like stuff like that. But these workshops, they helped out. Like they really give advice to like the young the young people who are beginning to become older, and that way we can learn from what people have experienced, and we can become better at it. For anyone who's interested in the YEP program, whether you just got out of college, high school, or looking to find a job, or actually starting out in college, I feel like people can get a lot of great opportunities here, like working or learning content, because we're here to help others, young or old, guide them to real life stuff, real life scenarios, and to help with better opportunities, like like I mentioned before, like helping out with making a resume and also we even helped searching to help find people jobs so they can apply and they could help make a living, you know? And also, not to mention, we also have like events and classes here that people would like to be part of, whether it's arts or business related, or just anything that to help one another and also to learn more about the arts.
And they actually put together this video.
Very good. Here, do something for us.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's always inspiring. Staff member comments?
I think I kind of spoke quite a bit during the YSPN. We did get to attend, or I got to attend the WIOA CWA Adult Conference this past May. It was an opening we hadn't gotten in a few years. And it's always interesting to see what the main focus of conferences are every year. I mean, from the youth to the adults, etc. And so there seemed to be a very high focus on mental health, self-care, how not to burn out, and whether you're working with clients in WIOA, whether you have a caseload, whether you're supervising case managers, there was a big emphasis on self-care and no burnout, right? What do we do to make sure that we're the best case managers or supervisors for case managers? So it was interesting, along with all the regular innovative ideas and trainings and WIOA legislative information, but it was nice to see that there was a little bit more of that mental health self-care for the overall community of workforce. So that was nice. Other than that, I think that's it for me. I don't know if there's anything else.
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay, let's go on to youth council committee member comments from the council. I'd just like to share a little bit of you. You've all heard of the band Red Hot Chili Peppers, right?
Yeah.
Well, how do you determine how heavy a Red Hot Chili Pepper is? Give it away, give it away, give it away, give it away. Sorry, it's a dad joke. No, anyway, on that note, thank you everybody for coming.
Yeah, I wanna go.
Oh, please, please.
One, I know like, if Santa Ana has partnered with the county, they have, they hadn't had it for years, and I know that they just brought it up this year. They have an internship for youth between 16 to, like, young adults, like 16 to, I think 18 or 19. But it's an unpaid internship, right? So, you know, some of our kids really wanna, you know, earn that money. So I don't know if you guys are able to collaborate, but they do the internships within the county offices. So you were talking about like the engineers, public works, they're doing that same thing, but with unpaid internships.
So we were trying to work with.
You've been trying.
Yes.
I hit county council and we got stuck.
And I think their HR and the agreement and what they were requiring of insurance and made it a little bit more challenging where it become a legal document. We have to go into a full-on agreement, and it was like,
Just trying to employ kids. Right? We're trying to, the county's not. I know, sometimes, you know, I mean. But we have Sarmiento that maybe we can add.
it was through him.
Through him.
It was through him. I think he was open to it, which we were excited about because we're gonna place a youth in Sarmiento's office. But we had to go through the channels of the, yes, the red tape. The red tape came into it, and then it was like, okay, well, we have to currently, right now, our process for developing work sites is we do an orientation with the work sites, inform them of our guidelines and policies, have them acknowledge what we're about and what we're required to do. The city of Santa Ana takes on the workers' comp liability to be able to provide this paid work experience, in addition to paying the youth, onboarding them and doing everything. What we ask of the work site is, hey, provide that mentoring and those soft skills to really guide these youth to get this experience. Obviously, you're not gonna get a full-on teacher or engineer or workforce development person like us, but you're gonna get somebody that can help you maybe do the filing, or maybe you can put them on a project that'll get them a feel for that particular position, or expose them to maybe what a council member, what Sarmiento's doing, et cetera. And so, and for some even working, I mean, they're doing cashiering, they're doing, I like it, we have somebody at chapter 1 doing the back house cooking, maybe dish, things of that nature. And so we take on everything else. So to make it a formal agreement, every agreement would then have to go through council for approval, and just the feasibility of that and the time it would take to do that.
And also it requires the city to accept 100% liability for the actions of the youth while they are working at that work site, versus a little bit of a, we're both self-insured. There is no 50-50.
And then have you guys thought like the Orangewood Foundation, so that like we can kind of increase some of those foster youth numbers?
Reach out to them so that we can enroll them.
Like they can be like maybe a possible work
They
site.
can
I
even
don't
be
know
a
if
work
that's
site, 'cause they're
something.
separate from the county, right?
Yeah, they're separate.
Okay.
It's a nonprofit foundation, and so I know that, you know, it's very busy with a lot of youth that are unemployed, right? And so this.
The one here on 17th Street?
Yeah, on
Okay.
17th and by Grand. Yeah.
That
I know
would be a
we've-
good idea.
Yeah, for sure. I haven't reached out to them for a work that, but I know we've mentioned to them and forwarded information, but I think it's time to revisit that again. I think come July, we're looking to start re-enrolling, and then with our new funding too, we want to make sure to ramp up our foster emancipated youth, transitioning youth, et cetera. So I will reach out to them. Thank you for that.
I know in the past that it was easier to work with the county. I don't know, there's a lot more red tape. Cause back in the day when we had the Summer Youth Program, we used to have young participants working at OC Healthcare Agency.
Yeah.
At other county facilities, and there was not that much red tape.
We were serving 500, 800 youth at a time
During the summer.
during the summer. So we had lines around the building trying to onboard them. I mean, as late as probably, what was 2010, 2011,
2011 was our last one.
our last 500 person, like one shot deal. Right now, we've worked with over 400, but throughout the year. So it's like an open, close enrollment and not all at once. I think our average has been anywhere from 100 to 140, 50 youth at one time, and distributed amongst the different counselors.
Is there no more like summer youth like enrollment programs? I kind of like, I always look for those summer like fairs for the kids to come out
Like a
and.
job fair for the youth.
Yeah, for summer, just summer
We didn't
programs.
do that this year.
We
Yeah.
did
Why,
it.
I don't know.
We did it, but we did it in
April?
partnership with
March.
CTE, Jennifer Acuna, and also the chamber.
San Ana
district.
Chamber,
Yeah,
It was a district.
but it was done at San Ana Unified, so it had a heavy San Ana Unified focus.
Right.
Versus in Orange County, whereas before we would partner with EDD and do
Yes.
a youth at like one of the high schools.
Yeah,
On a
yes,
Saturday.
and so they did scratch their job fair because they were a big partner in this one job fair that happened, and it was a good turnout. There was quite a bit of participation. The school and the district actually buses the youth to this job fair.
Yes.
And they do I think there was like 80 to 100.
Employers there.
Yeah, there. So it was significant.
I thought it was, I know I heard about that one, but I thought it was more for like older youth
No.
versus younger youth for like the summer.
Right.
Cause I know that you guys
It was
had summer specific ones. Okay.
Yeah, all of our high schoolers got bused to this particular job fair, and it was a huge success. So I'm anticipating it'll happen next year again. So for sure, try to make sure I'll make sure to send out a flyer and market a little bit more for the foster youth so that they can attend.
Even in the past, San Ana Unified was offered a lot of work sites. for our summer participants. Now it's nearly impossible to work with this.
Yeah, the district won't hire any of our youth. And not because they don't want to, but the liability, they will, again, it's this whole MOU agreement part that they don't wanna. Even the college, I think we're dealing that right now at the college, because I did work with one of the IT professors at Santa Ana College to provide some of his students work experience, and even them referring kids or young adults to us. They already have employers that they provide internship for some of their classes, and I'm like, hey, well, if you already have the internship, just let us know, we'll develop the work site, you have the youth, and it'll be, you know, we pay them. And again, the agreement and the MOU came into play, and I'm like. So I'm like, we're moving forward, this is key, and so we're still working at it, but we're trying to find another avenue to go, or finalize an MOU, maybe that'll help facilitate that too.
And I do have one more question for OCTAC. Have you guys ever explored the idea of kids working with the ISOA? Like because of, you know, geriatric, that increase the, and then the services in regards to that, so any youth like interested?
I mean, I think if the opportunity arises and someone is interested in maybe that as a career path, I don't see why we wouldn't be open to it. I think the only thing that might be an issue is since we do home visitations, I don't know if there's some sort of.
My mother participates in the ISOA, and so I know that they host events on site.
Yes.
And then they do the workshops, and then they do like the Zoom classes. My mom, like, I mean, that has been just a great service for her, so I really appreciate all the services.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great idea actually, to have maybe someone help out during those meetings.
Love it.
Okay, other comments from the next meeting is scheduled for August 8th. And so I'd like to express sincere gratitude to Bianca for all you do for us. Thank you. And thank you for being here.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Bianca.
Thank you.
Enjoy your summer. It's